It's Casual Mode with Jeremy and David, episode 20 for June 22nd, 2015. Sex Bomb. Hello everybody and welcome to Casual Mode, the podcast for geeks of all trades and masters of none. I am your host, Jeremy, and with me as always is my little brother by spirit, my tag team partner, my best friend, David. How are you, man?
I'm just a little tired right now, and yeah, I'm kind of very mellow today. More mellow than I usually am.
Yeah, it's been kind of a relatively sedate day for me as well.
Yeah.
On today's show, we're not quite certain what we've got because we're recording this far before we figure anything else out. But there's probably going to be some more video game stuff, some recap stuff from E3, besides what you saw in the special episode that we did earlier this week.
The seedings for the Major League Pokemon World Cup will be set on this show.
And
so, yes, watch that segment on YouTube if you don't, because it's going to be really nice, because I'm making it on PowerPoint and it looks all nice and everything.
Yeah. And, of course, we've got our silly news and dumb tweets as always. But we would like to remind you, first off, that we do have a GoFundMe campaign going to help our technology upgrades. GoFundMe.com/casualmodepodcast, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Yeah, we know some of you out there have probably been burnt by crowdfunding type things before, so we would like to reiterate and remind you that this absolutely will be going to upgrading our technology, particularly to upgrading my laptop, because once that happens, we'll be able to do a lot more other wonderful things, like be able to do more stuff involving video and have some more cooperative Let's Plays and stuff like that. So, yeah, just go check that out. Donate what you are capable of donating. Please don't put yourself into debt for our sake.
Do it! What?
Yeah, yes, I realize it sounds like that we're just begging for your money, and we totally are, but it's for a good cause. It's for a good reason.
I don't have to beg. You're the one doing the begging for me.
Yes. Although we will stop short of Avenue Q references. Also, a couple of episodes ago, on episode 18, we decided to do this thing called Operation Sandbox, where we decided to split things up into various different segments. And as a result, our view counts on each individual video went close to what the full view counts for the average episode of Casual Mode was. So that was an absolute success. At least as far as that goes.
Yeah, pretty good.
Which, considering the fact that at least part of two segments of it was just us pretty much saying something to the effect of Money in the Bank sucked balls. Well, dear God, why did we watch this shit?
I paid $9.99 for this crap. I hope you're all happy.
I didn't, and I still want my money back. The most important thing that we want to talk about, though, right now is that, unfortunately, in America, as much as we would like to believe that it is not the case, racial violence is still a thing, and there are still idiots out there who think that they have the right to use their belief in the supremacy of the Caucasian race to commit violence on other people, specifically African Americans. It recently happened in Charleston, South Carolina. Thankfully, the person has been caught, and a similar incident happened also in Memphis. No word as to whether that culprit has been caught yet, but we will remain hopeful. And really, we're not going to harp too much on the perpetrators of these crimes because...
I hope they get fucked by Bubba in a prison cell. Okay, I'm done.
Well, I wasn't going to use a rape joke, actually, because that's actually not cool. But I was just going to say, suffice it to say that they are dicks, and unfortunately, they are not isolated incident dicks. What we want to do is send our love out to all the people who were affected by these tragedies, all the families of the victims, to everyone who's lost someone due to racial violence. We feel for you deeply, and we want to send all our love and strength to you.
Definitely not what they need right now, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's not kosher at all.
Yeah, these issues definitely not what they need. I mean, what with, racial tensions already starting to build in this country again, going over shit that I thought that we were over with 40 years ago.
Yeah, it is really time for us white people, and I do say this in full cognizance that I am white myself, though I try not to be a dick. White
Asian dude.
Yeah, I know, but I'm speaking about my race here for a second. We white people really need to realize that there is a serious problem in society, and a lot of that problem is dials down to the fact that we white people are dicks to other people. It's the truth. It's not what you want to hear, but it's the truth. And I know it's hard to marry because, these were acts of terrorism. There's no dancing around it. These were acts of terrorism. I know it's hard to understand that when it's something that happens here in America. Because when you look outside at foreign terrorists like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, those people can process a lot more easily because you can kind of create an us versus them mentality out of that. That's an enemy that you can fight with guns and bombs and soldiers. You can't fight the enemy within the same way that you can fight an outside enemy. And this is an enemy within America. This is a systemic problem. We can't fight it the same way that we fight terrorism outside of the borders of the United States. It's something that we've got to change within ourselves.
The reason why I think that racism happens in this particular region, Memphis, South Carolina, those places, is because it's just kind of bred into those particular people. Believe me, Jeremy, if they were living in Gary, Indiana, or Oakland, California, those bastards would not have lasted 10 years.
Indeed. Yeah, like I said, it's something we have to change within ourselves. It's something we have to change within society itself so that people can go to a Bible study on a Wednesday night in a church, a black church, and not be afraid that someone's going to come knock on the door, bust the door open, and cap them. If we're going to change that, we need to not look outside and start looking within. Because, I'm a believer that, and for lack of a better phrase, the defictionalization of the Highlander Holy Ground rule. There are certain places in this world that should be considered safe spaces and should be generally accepted as safe spaces. Schools, hospitals, churches, and public meeting places. Those should be universally considered places where no shit goes down. So when shit does go down in one of those places, that is a fundamental failing of our society. It's a sad truth, but it's one that's got to be said.
I just hope they hang themselves.
I wasn't going to go there either. What I will say is that I hope that justice prevails, and I hope that love and peace reign out over fear and terror. And really, that's all there has to be said. Alright, moving on. I think we need something a little bit lighter than what we've just been talking about, so let's get some silly news in, huh?
And cut.
Hey everyone, this is David. Like what you hear? Check us out on the internet at casualmodepodcast.com, on Facebook at facebook.com/casualmodepodcast, any one of our social media links, and of course, click on the little subscribe button below. Thanks!